Hirohiko, my boy, please fight back! What's up, guys? I love Hunter here, and here I to do a breakdown / live reaction and review to chapter 54 of Kagurabachi, which is known as Friendship. And I'm excited, mainly because hopefully that means my glorious king Hirohiko will live. I need him alive. I need Chihiro, please. Please. You've gotten rid of like every single great antagonist you run into every single time. First, it was Sojo. Then, it was, I forget his name already, the head of the Sasanomi clan. Now, I can understand those first two. They're both terrible people. But please, leave Hirohiko. He's so goated. I like his design. I like his ability set. And you know he could lead to some amazing power growth for Ichiro. Please, spare him. But let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Editing me. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? The guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do mean to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact. Is that him? Is that Yoda? I remember his name this time. But let's see. I got the basic gist of the Kabunabi's strategy. They're shoring up their fighting power at each fortress in anticipation of an attack. And if they're willing to incorporate a maverick like Chihiro Rokuhira as a part of that, they're clearly stretched thin. What I haven't pinpointed is Togo Shiba's position. There's a whole range of skill levels in the world of sorcerers. He's at the very pinnacle. We really struggled to get past him 3 years ago. Oh. We really struggled to get past him 3 years ago. I'll keep searching. Whoa! Now wait a minute. Wait a minute. Y'all thought I was fit. Let me stop. But, wait. The plot thickens already. First things first, Yuta, I was not expecting to see you, my boy. I was expecting to see Hirohiko still wasn't on. But what? Okay, so this lays out multiple things. Number one, if Yuta is the leader, he at least doesn't seem to have a full, or at least, it depends, right? This doesn't necessarily deconfirm that he has someone inside the Kabunabi, link back, feed him information. Because he says, I got the basic gist of the Kabunabi strategy, which, at least to me, sounds like he saw how they reacted when they specifically attacked the Urahara's fort, and then was like, okay, so this is how they do things. Let's go attack another one, and let's see how that one works out. Summoner's fort. But that's like something you figure after doing something else. Like, that's like when you're first playing someone new online in a fighting game, and like, you're learning how they fight based on how they use their first character. Once again, I go to fighters or anything like that. That doesn't seem like you've played them before or have inside information on how they played. So that's interesting. So one, that sort of softens the idea of the Kabunabi actually having a mole, which is interesting. It's interesting to have these two very powerful organizations, one essentially the government, one the evil organization group, and not having them have any links at all. That's actually unique. I'm kind of shocked. Typically, they're always intertwined. Number two, confirming two things about Shiba. Once again, I think technically it is only one confirmation, but 2 extrapolations. Shiba has already been implied to be extremely powerful. Like, this has kind of just been a thing. It's been a running undercurrent for the 54 chapters of Kagurabachi so far, where Shiba's just him. To the point where everyone who encounters him glazes him. Almost like, kind of like a soft version of what Kakashi was in Naruto. And I'd say Naruto, like the series, like straight up Shippuden and part 1. Like, legitimately. Everyone, whenever they encounter Kakashi, are like, oh, Kakashi, the copy ninja, he who knows 1,000 jutsu. You are extremely powerful, well renowned. Allow me to suck your toes. Like Kakashi was getting glazed. And Shiba, consistently, while he doesn't have that same level of glaze, everybody knows him. He is kind of Mr. Worldwide, even though we haven't gone anywhere. But still, he is in that kind of tier. And to have it hard confirmed to have it hard confirmed that he's the pinnacle. There's a whole range of skill levels in the world of sorcerers. He's at the very pinnacle. Meaning he's basically the strongest, maybe not the strongest, but he's the strongest. That's intriguing. That's it. That's real. That's some real info to drop on us like that. That's something crazy. Like, we've always been able to infer it, but to get a straight statement from presumably the leader of the Hishaku that, hey, he's him. To the point where he's actually worried about engaging him. Once again, this is a reinforcement thing, though. We could always infer it. The other thing, we really struggled to get past him 3 years ago. What does that mean? Struggled to get past him. Did that mean you fought, or did you have to work around him? And who's we? Because again, it appears that Hirohiko is relatively new to the organization itself. And I'm assuming he's talking to Hirohiko here? I can't exactly tell. But with that being the case, was Shiba there? Did he fight? I thought he always showed up after the fact. I thought he appeared like later. He wasn't actually stationed there, but it looks like he was. Or at least somewhat. But then again, I guess that's why he left? Because of the loss of Kunishige? Maybe this is just another like reconfirmation thing that I just didn't click on because I only read Kagurabachi once and I didn't reread it. But that's intriguing. So when they say we, that means multiple Hishaku tier sorcerers essentially pulled up on Shiba well before the idea of the Death Inseki was made. So it was literally just all Hishaku tier sorcerers and maybe some fodder. And Shiba put up enough of a fight that it was a struggle to get around him. And then they did get past him, but he lived though. But he lived though. So like, wow, Shiba, the glaze and the mystery. What but that once again, it's kind of like a 50-50. Just like the 50-50 on whether or not the Hishaku has actual hooks in the organization as the Kabunabi. There's also a 50-50 on whether they actually fought Shiba, because he has no lasting battle damage. At least Chihiro has that scar. Like, you can tell he did fight the Hishaku. Meanwhile, Shiba, he's perfectly fine, unless it's hidden underneath his shirt or something like that. So intriguing. I wasn't expecting this. Hokozono-sensei. What are you cooking? Let's see. And interesting that he's not with them. So I wonder what he is doing. Because technically he's still not working for the Kabunabi. That's probably why they can't find him. But at the same time, what is he doing in the interim? Is he just guarding Char? Possibly, considering she's still definitely an asset. But an asset that hasn't really been touched on for a while. But interesting. Let's see. In any case. Oh, no. He's on the phone still. Another shot? Okay, never mind. In any case, the Kabunabi still refuses to divert their manpower from their Tokyo HQ. Must be to protect the Swordmaster. Must be harboring him somewhere in Tokyo. Those old goats have ironclad defenses. Will need at least an enchanted blade to infiltrate their HQ. Huh. Then it all hinges upon killing a contracted swordbearer. Is this really wise? Entrusting Hirohiko with such a crucial mission? What's the matter? Okay, so this is a new Hishaku. Oh wait, no. This is the same guy who was with Hirohiko. I didn't realize he was one part of the Hishaku too. At least he has the tattoo for it. But also interesting. So they don't know. They do not know. They're just getting so wow. Maybe they really don't have any hooks in unless Yoda isn't the leader. But if they don't even know where the wielder of the Shinichi is kept, that means the Kabunabi is actually real. They're real airtight. That's impressive. And the idea that ultimately he still hasn't picked up the real strat. He doesn't seem to mention Tenri here. Not Tenri. Hakuri here. Intriguing. But those old goats have ironclad defenses. So, wow. Well, as powerful as the Hishaku is, they cannot just barrel down the headquarters. I guess that makes sense. That's where they keep most of their power, but still interesting. What's the matter? Hirohiko managed to catch up to Uraha, but then that fool. He's still controlling the troops, right? And Yura, you full-grown man. That is not you. I mean, you know what? Keep your youth, I guess. Dog, what? Wait a sec. You know, I had seen him walking on a park. I didn't think he was actually going to hop on. You know what? Let me not knock out. Because, like, look at the shirt I'm wearing. I'm still. Then again, when is the last time I bought a Pokemon game? I didn't buy Scarlet and Violet. I'm probably not getting Legends CA. As much as the younger me will probably want. I'm probably not getting that game. Like I said, I have such a backlog. Like, this is the thing. I have such a backlog already. I still haven't even opened Rebirth. And I've heard so many good things about that game. And I've managed to keep consistently dodging the story because I want to experience it myself instead of, like, spoiling myself heavily on Remake. And then I need to get through that entire game and then go watch the Alexandic score? Oh, there was a video on Rebirth. I was like, I was going to click on it. But I was like, wait a minute, I'll spoil myself. So I forgot. I put it in watch later. But wow. Something about this just does not seem right. Hirohiko managed to catch up to Uraha, but then that fool. Well, he's still controlling the troops, right? And there's no problem. In fact, it's a good opportunity. Huh? Hirohiko's gifts in battle are invaluable. His sorcery can hardly be called powerful, but he's evolved it to an amazing extent. He'll master an enchanted blade quickly. Ah! So they want to make you... Ooh. Oh, it'd be so good. But wait, he'll lose his sorcery though. So that'll just put him in cheat. That's gonna hard nerf him. Because in order to wield an enchanted blade, you have to give up your innate sorcery, right? So like, I mean, obviously we've seen characters like Sojo. Why is Sojo and Soja flipping back and forth in my head? I'm pretty sure it's Sojo. Did I say Soja earlier? Sojo, Kagurabachi. Kagurabachi. Yeah, Genichi Sojo. Sojo. I think I said Soga earlier. I don't know where I got that from. Soga. Something about that rings a bell. But Sojo picked up an enchanted blade and was actually pretty relative with Chihiro. So like, maybe that'll be the same case for Hirohiko, but like, if anything, removing him from his sorcery that he's been practicing for years in order to give him an enchanted blade. I mean, well, it could be powerful, it could be useful. I'm not sure if he wants to do that and fight Chihiro again. Let's see. He'll master an enchanted blade quickly, but I haven't let him experience the world much yet, so he's still psychologically immature. It'll be good for him to interact with Chihiro Rokuhira sometime before he attains an enchanted blade. This is so... you know what? I kind of like it because it goes to show how old and beat up and rusty and almost malformed it is, and kind of matching the... Hishaku, but still, this is like a crazy image. But okay, at least to me, this is soft confirming that Hirohiko's not perishing just yet, which is good. I'm honestly more than happy with that. I kind of did want Kagurabachi to have a more long-term running antagonist, and this is it. Both Yura himself, obviously, and clearly now Hirohiko. At least I think. But that's interesting though. I haven't let him experience the world much yet. So it looks like Hirohiko is a pet project. Ultimately, he's kind of an experiment. He reminds me of Judar from Magi, where he's a character who had a great, amazing potential. In fact, real good, amazing potential. I don't want to go too deep into it, but Judar is another character who had a great, amazing potential in their sorcery, ironically enough, and then they were kidnapped by the evil organization at a very, very young age and then raised up to be a certain way. And also, just like Hirohiko, Judar in the world of Magi is also very emotionally immature because he didn't interact that much. He was only raised within that evil organization. So it looks like the Hishaku did a similar thing with Hirohiko, if I had to presume, based on him saying, I haven't let him experience the world much yet. So he was raised by the Hishaku. That makes sense. We've been putting so much into this... Wait. Well, we put so much into setting this up. What if Hirohiko blows it? Well, if you're so worried about it, you go do it yourself. Don't worry. We have a number of backup plans, including our trump card. We set this up so that he can afford to mess up. No need to stress. For Hirohiko, screwing up, losing a battle, and learning how the enemy thinks, all of that is a good learning experience. Okay. So they have multiple backup plans. They have multiple backup plans. They have a trump card, and they're okay with this failing. That's interesting. So once again, the Hishaku is doing such a good job of staying extremely vague that I don't know how many resources they have, but it seems that they do have more rather than less. And clearly, they're somewhat relaxed if he's able to just sit here in the random park, going back and forth on a spring tool or a spring toy. So, interesting. The more and more we learn about the Hishaku, the more and more interesting they are. But let's see. It's a good learning experience. He looks so clean, looks so menacing. Now spill it. Everything. Hirohiko's like, I know nothing, but I do want to be your friend. Oh, let's see. Kuro. After he took the onslaught of my cranes, suddenly everything went black. What did you do? Oh, he took both his arms. Golly. Took both his arms and impaled one of them. Golly gee willikers. What? What did you do? You were detecting my location by filling the air with paper. Oh, he's actually explaining it. Well, obviously this is for us as the audience, but still, I'm shocked he's even bothering to explain to Hirohiko, especially when he made a demand. Let's see. You were detecting my location by filling the air with paper. I did just the same. I filled the space with goldfish and detected your position as they took over the visual field. Ah, interesting. If you could do that, why let the cranes slash you up? I saw you don't always make those papers into cranes. You need to have them within reach to fold them, don't you? You can only use that firepower once. After they're attacked, the cranes die. I didn't use Kuro to fill up the space initially, because if you had any cranes left over, you might get desperate and attack an innocent bystander. So I chose to leave myself open and let all those cranes use themselves up. And then, and only then. So essentially, once again, it's Chihiro, while he understands that he is... Yeah, I like that. Last chapter, I praised a lot because it goes to show Chihiro's own mentality and the complications of what being a hero is when ultimately being a hero comes with taking lives. And I praised the chapter a lot for that. And this is an extension of that. It was ultimately Chihiro making the unoptimal move, right? Like, if he could have immediately reached Hirohiko, he should have and could have. But that's only if he was thinking purely optimally when it comes to a battle between him and Hirohiko, completely disregarding any civilians nearby. So ultimately, by Chihiro doing what Chihiro did in that moment, sacrificing his own body and putting up that physical wall in order to make sure that no one got hurt, he proved his heroism, in a sense, and his dedication to not... Realistically, he knows he's a monster, but not fully a monster like someone like Hirohiko was. You flip him and Hirohiko's positions, though admittedly you literally can't bet by their natures, but if you were to put Hirohiko in a similar situation that he was in Chihiro, and he had the ability to attack, he would have just attacked. And it wouldn't have mattered, because he would have made it, and he would have done the damage, regardless of the civilian interference. But Chihiro, by worrying about the civilians, allowed himself to take damage. Allowed himself to be the direct focus of all the paper cranes. And thusly, he put himself in this scenario. But now this becomes a question. Did Chihiro underestimate Hirohiko's ability with the paper cranes? Presumably, I think there's probably going to be some effect that soaking the cranes in his blood is going to have. That's going to allow Hirohiko to escape. Especially considering this is just a mess up. This is a mistake. So... I wonder what's going to happen next. Considering he's literally armless. How's he going to fix this? Let's see. Why? Why would you go to such extremes just to protect them? In the end, they're nothing like us. I mean, I think every human being has potential for depravity. Every human being has potential for darkness. Every human being has the potential for evil. I just think everything's like that. That's just like, it sounds rather morbid. I will readily admit it's not the most positive view on humanity, but I think that is just the case. It's the truth of life, if you will. And thusly, I'm not too shocked, because ultimately, just as every human being has potential for all that negativity, every human being has potential for positivity. Who knows what these people are going to do? Or who knows what they already do? They could be parents, they could be siblings, they could be sons, they could be daughters. And thusly, they deserve the right to live. Sure, they do. Do they have the same level of extreme power as Chihiro or Hirohiko? No. But still, in that same moment, that doesn't mean that their lives are forfeit. Human life innately does have value. Or life in general does have value. And thusly, Chihiro sees that value and isn't willing to squander it. Especially considering, ultimately, in his mind, Chihiro made an even trade-off. He took rather minimal damage, still able to blitz you and take your arms off. In Chihiro's mind right now, I presume you're going to escape this somehow, but in Chihiro's mind, he won. At the cost of no lives. So that's why he did it, because he could. Notably, that does raise a question though. I want to see Chihiro in a situation where it's him or them. I want to see him in a trolley situation where he's the one not only pulling the switch, but also tied to the railroad. Like, he's, like, essentially, if you know the trolley problem, it's the idea of intervention and how much culpability you have, and utilitarianism. It's a common utilitarian, I forget what it's called, like a brain theory or whatever. It's some thought experiment. And essentially you stand at a trolley station and you see that it's going to hit 10 people, or any number, 10 people, but at the same time, if you pull it, you're not just going to put it on an empty track, the tram that's running down. You're going to put it on a track with one person. So, what do? Do you make the utilitarian choice? Do you pull the lever to sacrifice one life for the 10? Or do you not interfere at all, keeping your moral freedoms by not interfering with the trolley problem at all, and thusly sitting there and watching 2 people die? Either your hands are going to end up bloody regardless because you were there in the scenario, but you can either directly kind of set yourself up for at least a manslaughter charge, or you can sit there and just be a bystander. That's the question. And so far, Chihiro's always been in scenarios where he's allowed to kind of do both. He's willing to sacrifice himself, run himself over as if he's laying on the track, and then let the other people live. But I want to see him put in a scenario where it's either him or them, and see him choose himself. Because I don't think, once again, Chihiro, since he's acknowledged that he's a monster, I don't think he'd be willing to off himself. if it came for the lives of random innocents. I think he would be willing to sacrifice then because he'd have no other option. But here he had another option. So I think we're building to something like that. I'm assuming it's going to happen with Yura, or it's going to be a later scenario with Hirohiko if he survives and if he goes on to get stronger. Let's see. In the end, they're nothing like us. So long as they're safe, I don't care. It doesn't matter how they see me. Killing is horrible. Yes, we're both killers, but I don't get it. Like me, his sole purpose in life is to kill. Now we finally meet. Then why? Why? I refuse to accept your ways. I don't get it. But killing is killing. Not necessarily. Well, it looks like, let me let Chihiro cook, and I'll give my own perspective. Not all killing is the same. If all killing is equivalent to what you guys do. If all killing is the same as what you guys do, I'd be betraying my beliefs, the beliefs of my heroes. Alright. Well, they're still his heroes. He just respects them and doesn't revere them. I refuse to accept that. Yeah, and honestly, he's right? Like, there's a reason murder and manslaughter are two different things. There's a reason, like, the concept of revenge exists. There's a reason that the taking of life is such a complicated topic in of itself, and why we have, like, multi-year-long, multi-decade-long debates over did someone do this to somebody else, because killing is complicated. And really, everything in life is complicated, but especially when it comes to the taking of human life in particular. Obviously, all life is to some degree sacred because you cannot replicate it. It is a process that kind of just happens on its own that we can interfere with, but we still don't fully understand, especially when it comes to human reproduction. We can't do it. So far, people are experimenting on it. They're trying to make life in other ways, but it's not working because it's just a fundamental part of our biology that we don't fully understand. But with that being the case, there is variance, and you can definitely tell that Hirohiko is rather sheltered. He is rather hindered because he can't comprehend that. He's only been raised to slaughter, and he's only seen slaughter in one way. Meanwhile, Chihiro has seen all different types. He's heard about different types. He's understood and respected and revered different types, and now just respects them. Where he understands that, yeah, there's slaughtering for a nation, there's slaughtering for those you love, there's slaughtering for yourself, there's self-pleasure, there's external pleasure, there's doing it even if you don't like it, like Samurai does. Like, there's so many levels and eras and different complexities to when it comes to taking life. And overall, I would love to sit here and tell you I never do it because I think it is just morally wrong and I don't want to compromise my morals. But if it's my life or somebody else's, I'm taking me. And ultimately, that would also be a different type of kill. Like it's the complicated thing, right? Where ultimately, I like to believe that all life is sacred, but I'm not giving up my own. If someone wants mine and I have the capability to fight for my own, I'm not going to just give up. It'd be like that. It's the complications of it because life is such a sacred thing, at least in my eyes. I know some people think, like, life is life, especially if you have no faith in anything and you're just like, yeah, we return to nothing. Then even then, ironically enough, even if you don't have faith in anything and you believe life is nothing, we come from nothing and we return to nothing, then life even gets extra value in that sense because there is no second chance, there is no nothing, there's no reincarnation. So like, yeah, slaughter is complicated, and Hirohiko's emotional immaturity really shows how, while he and Chihiro are kind of the same, in fact, they're both slaughterers of a young age, they aren't the same at all, because Chihiro understands. Meanwhile, Hirohiko clearly doesn't. But you're like me. Why don't you understand? If we can't meet each other and connect, we're the same! No. That's why we seek to kill each other. He's spitting though. He is actually pretty accurate on that one. Yeah. It is a fundamental moral difference between those two that drives in the conflict. And of course that conflict involves taking life. Each other's life in that conflict. If they were truly the same, they wouldn't. They'd be on the same side. But they are different. It's like how you are the same as your biological siblings. For all intents and purposes, right? Well, obviously, that's the thing. It immediately gets complicated, but like, you came from the same people, who came from the same people, who came from the same people. If anything, you're just a biogenetic remix of each other. If you have an older sibling, you're a remix of them. If you're a younger sibling, you're a remix. If you have a younger sibling, they're a remix of you, right? Because it's the same people doing the same thing that makes the same person, right? Well, ultimately, you are fundamentally different. So you are the same, but you are really, really different because of all the different circumstances that go into it. Just like Chihiro and Hirohiko are the same, but still fundamentally different. Let's see. I get it. We seek to kill each other because we're different. That's why, when we meet, we fight to the death with everything we've got. This is friendship. Oh, yeah. Yes, Hirohiko. You're wrong, but yes, Hirohiko. Think that way. Yeah. Let's see. Friendship. Oh, he's like, all right, we're friends. I'll snitch. The Hishaku is a small group of 10 sorcerers. Okay. Full on is Sparta vibes. All right. It's a small group of 10 sorcerers. Huh. You said talk. Continue. I thought you. I was like, I was actually expecting you to drop it. Let's see. You said to talk. Continue. Our leader is a man called Yura. You met him at the Rakuzachi. So he is truly the leader. He is truly 100 million billion% the leader. All right. I thought he was straight captain. That's when I first started reviewing Kagurabachi. That's crazy. You met him at the Rakuzachi. Our current plan, as you know, is to attack the fortresses. For this operation, we hired 68 outside sorcerers. Well, he's given every detail. We hired 68 outside sorcerers. We had 34 Datenseki weapons in our stockpile. Wow! That's crazy. Let's see. And for this task, I was given a total command of all our forces, including the Hishaku members. Well. An interesting move. Security has been beefed up for each fortress. I'm sure they've reinforced the other countermeasures too. I think it's a smart move. I love how Hirohiko's breaking though. Now that he finally has a connection, he's like, yes, I will give you everything because we can bond deeper over stuff like this. Let's see. Interesting move. Well, it's a smart move, but it's also a gamble. We've deployed just enough firepower to match 4 fortresses. All at one place? It's just like him to place an all-or-nothing bet. I love it. To invest so much in the Senkutsuji temple, clearly he's extremely resistant to using our trump card. It's presumably one of the Hishaku members using a Datenseki. If I had to hazard a guess, let's see. Huh? Yeah, they just keep coming. Ultimately, yeah. Because realistically, all they need is one. They need one enchanted blade. And then they can use the enchanted blade to work on the rest. So if you have the option, why split your forces? If they're gonna split their forces, reinforcing every single fortress, attack one. Go full in, because all you need is one. All you need is one. One body. If you can get one body, you're good. Let's see. And it's kind of like how in a fighting game, not even really in a fighting game, but kind of in like any RPG. If you're fighting a boss in an RPG and you have the opportunity to fight them or their lackeys, and their lackeys aren't doing anything to get specifically in the way of you taking down the boss, you take down the boss. You do everything in your power to take down the boss, because the lackeys are ultimately just a distraction for your DPS. Sure, they're there and they're annoying and you like to get rid of them, but ultimately they're kind of just a distraction. Just focus down the ball. It's kind of like how I watched King K's Pokemon Sun and Moon retrospective recently, and it reminded me of the totem Pokemon and how they would summon extra Pokemon. At least when I played Sun and Moon, I'd always focus down the totem, because if I don't and I kill the minion, another minion will come up. So I'm always just going to focus down the totem. And that's the same thing here. Focus down one fortress, get one blade, and keep it pushing. So while Hirohiko's clearly new to this, he understands the basic idea of doubling down, tripling down, quadrupling down, quintupling down. Let's see. Huh? Master Samura! The enemy forces are surging! Ooh. Uh-oh. Is that Yura himself? Oh, Lord. Golly, the entire temple? For personal reasons, I dispatched all that fighting power to Senkutsuji. Oh, for personal reasons. Oh, interesting. I'm sorry for showing up without a proper weapon, but now everything's ready. Soon we'll be on the same playing field. Then we can really battle to the death as equals. Uh-oh. No, don't tell me Samura. Did Samura really just die? No way Samura actually just died, bro. Did we really have Samura just to kill Neko? No way we did that. But interesting though, he brought 2 of the enchanted blades with him. Those are his paper butterflies. Then we can really battle to the death as equals. The enemy's pouring in. They'll reach here as well. This is bad. We should focus on evacuating. He can't recover while on the move. It's only been 10 minutes. How are the preparations? Coming along. Almost there. That was close. Hey! That's what's his name? Huh. So was he at the... was he at the Rakuzachi too? Because I remember it was the tree that was made that ended up forcing Chihiro to make that choice to use the last of May, right? Interesting. Whoops. Talk about bad karma. That's okay. I'm about to dole out your punishment. All right! This chapter was some gas. All right, so this is wonderful. This is wonderful on multiple levels. Number one, just like I thought, Chihiro underestimated the Hishaku and their capabilities. Ultimately, by him, the enchanted blade wielder, being drawn away from the fortresses, specifically to deal with Hirohiko, he isolated himself. He left Uraha and Samura, along with Hakuri, his three best resources, alone, under the presumption that the Hishaku was only focusing all the fortresses at one time, based on their previous patterns, and thusly overestimated or underestimated their ability to mobilize. Since he didn't have a solid idea on how many sorcerers there actually were in the Hishaku, he gambled, assuming that Hirohiko was moving alone in this one action. Thusly, he's left Samura and Uraha in the worst position possible, as they're going to be jumped by presumably numerous Hishaku sorcerers. Sure, there are only 10, but that means Hirohiko, Dyura, that other guy, who I don't think we got the name of, the guy earlier in the chapter who's on the phone with Dyura, all of them can converge on Sekutsuji Temple and help out this guy, who's from the start of the series, this Hishaku member, who's already fighting Samura, along with, 68, though a lot of them have been slaughtered already, but 68 sorcerers, 34 of which are wielding Datenseki. So, Samura is not only going to have to deal with a Hishaku tier sorcerer, who's already been shown to be extremely powerful, based on his abilities and how he tore through the entire temple and basically reduced all of Samura's assistance to nothing, but top that off with the remaining Datenseki users, and top that off with the fact that he still doesn't have an enchanted blade. However, it looks like this is where the gamble comes in, if Samura and Uraha are going to make it, because the enchanted blades are in motion. They are open, they are free in air. Now, if someone can find them, or if Hakuri can get his ability back and get his hands on Uraha, or get his hands on Samura, they can turn the tides, because these blades are easily able to be transported. And based on the fact that Yoda himself doesn't seem to have any sort of inlinks to the Kabunabi, he does not know anything about Hakuri or his abilities or the plan that can unfold because of such. So this is really a gamble of what recovers first. What recovers first or who dies first. If Samura gets got, if he gets annihilated by this Hishaku sorcerer who annihilated everybody else around him, then that's one enchanted blade down, and that means Samura's enchanted blade can now be wielded by Hirohiko if he can get his arms back. Once again, we don't know. He's still armless right now, so I'm not sure how he's going to wield an enchanted blade. He's going to put it in his mouth like Zoro. Or if Hakuri recovers first and gets his hands to Samura, then he can summon the blade. And then Samura's going to get an amp of an enchanted blade against the users. And on top of that, Uraha is here as well. So we can possibly get two enchanted blade wielders back at the same time. So this is truly coin toss. If I had to take a guess, one of them's going to die. One of them's going to die because Hirohiko needs to get his hands on an enchanted blade. The question is, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Uraha or is it going to be Samura? Considering Samura's already been established as the strongest, I think Samura's going to die. I think he's going to hold off the Hishaku sorcerer long enough for Hakuri to recover and get Uraha's blade back. But by the time Uraha gets his blade back, Samura is going to have fallen into the Hishaku sorcerer and is going to give Uraha his best regards. Because remember, Uraha is a student of Samura. So I can see Samura ended up falling, and then he's going to be like, carry on my legacy. Deuces. And then he dips out by dying. And then it's going to be a proper enchanted blade wielder, one with experience in the war, unlike Chihiro, on top of Chihiro. And then Hirohiko is going to get his own enchanted blade, which would be Samura's enchanted blade. So overall, the chapter straight gas. It established things, it cleared up certain things, it raised mysteries such as Shiba's location, and allows for a whole lot more. I'm so excited to focus on this. It's Kagurabachi. Enough time has passed. It is peak. But if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave tree stump. Tree, as in like trees, and stump, as in like the stump of a tree, in the comment section down below. And thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on every video that comes to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month. You things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. So now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions to every other series I happen to review, ad-free rations of all my videos, and you can be $25 Patreon, only $25 member. You can order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Zach on the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members: Zara, Greyhound, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Brandon Payne, G Prosper, and Glacier XZ. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 patrons: Midnight Lord 21, Kevin Encarnacion, Sean, Igneel Lind, and A+A. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $7 members, Fine and Austin Wimberly, A Uchiha, along with Yuki Ally. And I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $10 members, Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $10 patrons, Overlord Zero, Joaquin Munoz, and Idemo Kami. And I'd like to give a final, giga, legendary, superhuman, beyond the bounds of reality thank you to our That Guy with a Pencil tier patron, okay, Calvin Elder.